I'm gonna share an interview of President Trump in which he's saying, the stock market is at all-time high, and you know what? Inflation is up, gas prices are up, unemployment is up, and what Trump just said, it's a try not to lie challenge. First of all, take a look at this clip, guys.
And whether we like it or not, that is a big indicator of where we got people, 401ks are all high. They're all setting records.
What about people who don't have 401ks and they're worried about gas or groceries? We hear about that
I
a lot.
inherited very high prices when I came in. I inherited the highest inflation in the history of our country. Biden had
Inflation was at 2.9% in December of 2024. Inflation is now 3.8%. The average price of gas was $3.04 in December of 2024 when Biden was the president. It is now $4.30. We can continue going through the stats, and time again you'll see that they do not look good for him. So he has to keep.
He's still blaming President Biden for everything. People are asking from President Trump, you have started this war, but you're facing inflation. Everybody's crying, but still he comes on interview and he says Biden has one of the highest inflation rates ever in the history.
Keep citing the stock market, which is something that is just blindly ripping off of basically no news. Here's Donald Trump saying in this clip, it's kind of wild. He says that it's good that the American people are confused about the Iran war. It's a very good thing that the American people are confused and don't know what's going on, because if they're confused, that means the Iranians must be confused. Which part of Art of War is this? When did Sun Tzu say, in order to confuse the enemy, you must confuse yourself first? What?
So everyone said it was going to be $300-400 a barrel. It's $98 a barrel. But that's not a big price to pay if you look at the possibility of them having a nuclear weapon.
Not a big price to pay. Easy for you to say. The person who's never had to pay gas prices in your life. Again, look at his eye. Am I tweaking here, or are his eyes really effed up in this? He looks
swollen.
Bad. Said it was going to be $300-400 a barrel. It's $98 a barrel.
Yeah, clearly we can see the eyes are swollen.
But that's not a big price to pay if you look at the possibility of them having a nuclear weapon. It's not a very big price to pay.
And are your tactics where you say something and then change it and then do a peace deal and then break the ceasefire or whatever, is that all about trying to keep the Iranians off balance? Are you sort of messaging to them?
No.
Because people at home sometimes I hear that they feel anxious and confused.
That's good. That's good. If they're confused, then the Iranians are confused.
Right.
But no, it's just the way I am. It changes. I mean, I could.
It's not that the American people are confused. It's that American people are suffering, and the explanations coming from this administration have been shifting every single day. Now we don't even believe this administration. I don't think the American people are quite confused. We're very certain about one thing. We're very certain about the fact that you cannot trust a single word coming out of this administration's mouth as it pertains to the Iran war. The only people currently trusting this administration are Ben Shapiro and Scott Jennings, honestly. Other than that, everybody knows this administration is lying about this war.
Yeah, President Trump is just not defending the confusion. He's saying the confusion of American people is a strategic asset. Strange. Americans are suffering due to inflation and not getting straight answers. And President response is, good, that's the plan.
Also, just think about Donald Trump's entire framework about this. So apathetic towards the American people, many of whom voted for him in the 2024 election. Just think about this. He said on the White House front lawn that he doesn't think about Americans' pocketbooks. It's not even something that it's in his mind. Then he says today, it's good that the American people are confused. Absolutely sickening rhetoric coming from our president. The Republicans will say he's just using this as a negotiation tactic. He actually does care about the American people, but he's using this as a negotiation tactic to make the Iranians think he doesn't care about the midterms. Let me tell you right now, Trump absolutely cares about the midterms, but he does not care about the American people, and we know that because he's never showed any care whatsoever.
But President Trump have said several times that I don't care about the midterms. The ruling party always loses the midterms. He said several times. But deep inside, he is interested in midterm and he knows he's going to lose the
Is there
midterms.
one economic policy that has benefited the American people since Trump took office? I can't think of a single economic policy. He's just a liar. To continue, Donald Trump in this clip is confronted with this idea that Bibi Netanyahu tricked him into going into Iran. Now, that's not really the proper framing. It's not that Bibi tricked Donald Trump, but the actual reporting says that Netanyahu gave a pitch to Donald Trump and his team. It's the same pitch that Bibi Netanyahu has given many United States presidents, and every single U.S. president except for Trump has rejected the idea and said this seems like a bad idea. Netanyahu gave a presentation to Trump, and in this presentation he said, hey, it'll be just like Venezuela, we'll be in and out, then we will be better off for it. So he lied to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump decided to ignore his top generals that were saying don't do this, and he went with Bibi Netanyahu. So I wouldn't say the word tricked is as applicable, but I would say that Netanyahu definitely courted Donald Trump by lying to him, and Donald Trump is such an effing idiot that he fell for it. Never remove agency from Trump in this situation. Don't act like he's just some kid getting tricked. No, he knows what he did. He knew what he was doing when he got into that war. He just didn't have an actual plan, which is a huge problem. Watch this clip of Trump getting confronted. And look at his black eye. Sorry to keep going back to the visuals. I'm not usually talking about it that much, but like this dude's got like a black swollen eye.
What do you say to people
Yeah.
who claim
Clearly
that Bibi
swollen.
Netanyahu tricked you into going into Iran?
Well, they're just, the enemy. They're just, the Democrats, DUM. These are Democrats. These are people that don't know what they're doing. They want men playing in women's sports, and they want open borders so the world.
By the way, he's not saying Democrats. He's trying to say Dummocrats. It's his new nickname for Democrats, like Dummocrats. It's the most dumb, infantile thing I've ever heard.
Democrats, DUM. These are Democrats. These are people that.
I think he hates Democrats more than Iran. In always every interview, I said several times to you, why he hate Democrats so much? They also exist in USA, and it's such a democratic country. Why he hates so much? First he hate media networks, then he hate Biden so much, Democrats so much.
That don't know what they're doing. They want men playing in women's sports, and they want open borders so the world can pour into our country, and they want transgender for everybody, surgery, and they want transgender mutilization of our children. No, these are just words. That's all they do. It's all they're good for is words. Like, I heard that the other day for the first time. I said, he tricked me. I mean, I'm the one that started it because, again.
Okay, he said, I started this war. This part is actually very important right there. I started this war, not my generals, not Netanyahu, me. He says it and then keeps going like he didn't just admit to start a war that has killed American service members. And it also spiked gas prices, has no clear end point. Nobody knows. It's more than 90 days now and there is no end point we can see. He says it can take, negotiation can take several months as well, and people are suffering. That's not a slip. Trump just admitted that I started this, and that's him on camera owning it and not understanding the way of what he just said.
I don't want to bore anybody, but I started because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Now, that pertains.
They're not any farther from having a nuclear weapon. Like, if the theory is that Iran was actively working towards a nuclear weapon with enriched uranium and scientists building these facilities, they still have the enriched uranium, they still have the scientists, they still have the blueprints for the facility.
They're still controlling the state of
Up in the
Hormuz.
cloud. They're just
But
right
Trump
now
is a winner.
at war, so they're not rebuilding it as fast. But honestly, it was kind of nice to hear Donald Trump just straight up say, I started this war. It's like he almost just like looked directly into the interviewer's eyes and said, I started this war. Which is nice to hear him say it, because I feel like we're soon going to get to a point where he's blaming it on all the other people around him.
They do. It's all they're good for is words. Like, I heard that the other day for the first time. I said, he tricked me. I mean, I'm the one that started it because, again, I don't want to bore anybody, but I started because we can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Now, that pertains to Israel because they probably would have been the first one to get hit. There would be no Israel. Tell you what, if there wasn't me, there would be no Israel right now. And it started off as when I terminated the horrible Barack Hussein Obama the Iran nuclear deal.
You terminated the JCPOA, and Iran immediately began to enrich their uranium further, which led to this exact war about a decade later. Here's a more high resolution image of Donald Trump's bloodshot and bloated eyes. Kind of wild to just see the president in this state. Here is him being asked about his trips to Walter Reed Medical Center.
You just had your health thing, and you're 14 years younger. Cardiac health and cognitive health.
Yeah, they said I'm very healthy. I do physicals because I think I have an obligation to do it. But I just came out with very, very good results. And I took a test, a cognitive test, and I got 100% on it. As the expression goes, I aced it.
Yeah.
And the doctors told me it's very, very few people can ace that. It's actually a tough test. Once you get
Is this the one where you have to identify a horse, or is this the one where you have to identify which one is a square? Because I can't keep track anymore.
past the first half of the questions,
Yeah.
those questions get
Is
difficult.
it a memory? What is it that, have you got a good memory?
I have a great memory. Look, so far so good.
Yeah.
I hope I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
People
You just
on there,
had,
Donald Trump has a great memory for absurd election conspiracy theories. Other than that, it doesn't seem like he has a fundamental understanding of a lot of the political dynamics in the world. And that's not saying that me as a 23-year-old has it figured out as well, but Donald Trump can simultaneously have had success in the business world in New York in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, and simultaneously also have no understanding of actual policy implications. His actual policies, he doesn't understand. He doesn't really have any policies other than those crafted by Stephen Miller. Here's Trump taking time out of the interview to talk about January 6th, talking about conspiracies about the FBI staging it. Dude, he held a speech 10 minutes away at the Ellipse. People then walked from the Ellipse over to the Capitol building after Trump told them to fight, and that Mike Pence didn't do what needed to be done. And they went to the Capitol and they fought the police, and then they chanted, "Hang Mike Pence." You can draw a direct line between Donald Trump's rhetoric and why people were there January 6th. So for him to say that the FBI staged this is effing absurd. It happened off the back of his conspiracy theories that he spreads in this very interview. I'll show you.
it was I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was there's a lot of rigging going on there
Yeah.
too.
have
Because you know what? I won in a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged.
that-
In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah, of course. The anti-weaponization fund, have you dropped that?
No, a court ruled against it.
Yeah.
But just so you understand, these are people that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go in, police, go into the, and they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail.
Keep in mind, this is the president.
Yeah, President Trump was so much popular in 2024, no doubt. But in 2020, he said the elections were rigged. But in my opinion, he was not so much popular at that time. Because, now in 2024, he was so much popular. I remember that time clearly during election campaign. He was so much popular. He survived assassination attempt and everybody loved him. But now, let's talk about now. And he's not popular right now. He's so much unpopular. And he's now, in this interview, President Trump told Americans that their confusion about the war is good because it confuses Iran too. So President Trump is now confusing Iran and America equally, like what he's just saying. He said gas prices are not a big price to pay. Seriously, he deflected a direct question about Netanyahu by providing the transgender surgery, and then mid-sentence he admitted, I started this war. You have heard that. He said, I started this war, not accidentally. Clearly on camera, the numbers don't match what he's saying. The war isn't over yet and there is no end to this war. And the economy isn't unbelievably in the way he means. And the president answer to all of it is, trust me, wait and see. After 6 months of short-term pain, at some point, waiting and seeing is its own answer and nothing else. He's saying the economy is going well, everything is perfect, and there is no inflation. Gas prices are not a big price to pay. He says everything is going perfect. Then why are you crying? Why people in USA are crying due to inflation and all that other things? What's your opinion? Do you agree to this President Trump interview? What do you want to say? Let me know in the comment section, guys. I really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed President Trump interview. After a week, he just came outside and said something, you know. So what's your opinion? What are your random thoughts? Let me know in the comment section, guys. I'll bring more important videos for you. Till then, please take care of yourself.